Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to season 10 of Witches of the Moon, my fellow witches, broom riders, and weird ones. I am here today to talk to you about the Akashic records. What are they? How do you access them? What do they do for you? Well, the Akashic records, or the Akashic records, are a collection of every experience that your soul has ever had throughout multiple lifetimes, space, time from now through the future. Oh, one of the ways that it's been described has been as a cosmic library. It is not a physical place. It is a spiritual place that resides within the astral plane and is only accessible through the astral plane. So a lot of people want to know, what are they? How do you use them? How do you access them? What can you do with it? Well, a lot of people hold the belief that the Akashic records, because they hold a collection of every decision you have ever made in your life, in any lifetime, throughout time and space, that it can be used as a healing tool in the here and now. Remember that in the spiritual plane, time is not linear. Time is, I would say, almost round. It's got no sides. It's just constant reflux. What we are experiencing right now is a manifestation of the physical world, and time is limited to that physical space. We're here for a certain amount of time, but in the spiritual world, your soul is always your soul, and every decision you make is logged and cataloged, including that which will be in the future. The problem is, we can't access the future records necessarily. You can't go into the Akashic records and see, oh, I'm going to make this decision on this time, so I need to make sure I avoid that. Because our actions and the future are always subject to change. So what's in the Akashic records for the future is an impossible to fathom amount of possible realities based on the decisions that are made in this lifetime. So what good are they then? What can you use them for? Well, you can use them to heal wounds and to create better situations for yourself today. What I mean by that is, there are several groups out there that can teach you how to read the Akashic records. There are people who professionally read the Akashic records for others. And here's the catch. You have to be very careful with that, because you cannot access someone else's Akashic records without their permission. The records are designed to protect themselves, so you can't get in there and mess with somebody else's life. So what will happen is that you'll be given false information and things that are going to take you in directions you aren't meant to be. If the person has given you permission to read their Akashic records and you're trained to do so, then you'll know the difference. Now, some of these groups, I get people that ask me a lot of times, well, who reads the Akashic records? If you're interested in learning how to read the Akashic records, there is a group run by Cynthia Hess, Hess, and her group is called Soul Realignment. I have looked a lot into different groups that train you to read the Akashic records, and there are several. I believe Vanessa Simpkins, she has one where they work with the Akashic records to do life coaching and that sort of thing. Her program looks pretty good, but Soul Realignment she says a lot of things that really resonate with me personally. She offers free videos on Facebook, seminars periodically, where you can kind of tack in and see what she has to say. The only issue with that is it's going to be a big plug for her course, which is extraordinarily expensive. She no longer reads. She used to read Akashic records for clients, but she's so busy with teaching now that she's no longer doing readings. But it might get you to a source where someone can. Why would you want your Akashic records read? What's it going to do for you? Well, one of the things that especially the Soul Realignment program aims to do is look for patterns in your behavior and then tap into the Akashic records to figure out which decision those bad choices that are being continuously made, or those bad patterns are based on. A lot of times what Ms. Hess points out is that not everything manifests itself immediately. sometimes it takes time for things to manifest. And so what you may be experiencing today could be the result of a decision you made 2 previous lifetimes ago. So you need to go into the Akashic records to clear that and to clear the residuals so that you are free today to make a different choice. For example, she talked about a client that she had who kept getting into this pattern of meeting men who sort of seemed to drain her financially. That just when she started to get successful, she would meet somebody that she thought was going to be good for her, and then they end up like draining her financially and so on and so forth. And she couldn't figure out why she kept making this pattern. As it turns out, in a previous time, she had been given a choice between love and money. And she needed to clear that decision because she chose love. And so she was never able to achieve the financial success that should have been hers because she was brilliant. So that she could be free of that decision to make a different choice and choose both love and success in this lifetime. And apparently it was quite life-changing. I have seen different methods for reaching the Akashic records. A lot of them deal with meditation and astral travel. You can always access your own Akashic records, but I do believe it takes time and practice. I've been working very steadily to be able to access my Akashic records, to understand some of why I do what I do, and it deals with my shadow work. I've been doing a lot of shadow work lately to try to understand where some of my decisions that I make come from, because I think a lot of my decisions that I make in life with regards to interpersonal relationships come from a place of fear. And I don't feel that you can make healthy relationships and healthy choices when you're coming from a place of fear. So I have been doing a lot of meditation to access the Akashic records. If you know what the Insight Timer is on the iPhone, it's also available for Android, but Insight Timer is a meditation app, and it's a great app. I've talked about it in other videos before, and I do recommend that you check it out. But there is a meditation on there to reach the Akashic records. The guy's voice doesn't suit me great, but the imagery is good. Another way to access the Akashic records would be through some sort of aid in astral travel. So if you're real skilled in astral travel, you can always just travel to your Akashic records and ask your soul body the question that you're needing answered. And I bet you're wondering what a soul body is, so I'll get to that in a second. Another way that I have found that people access the Akashic records is through meditation and pendulum use. The reason that pendulum use is so popular in reading Akashic records, especially for someone else, is because it requires you to pinpoint that exact question. It's got to be a yes or a no. And so it makes your questioning very precise and to the point, and it allows you to narrow things down very quickly in finding that there is some sort of a decision or a choice that's been made or that you are currently making that is keeping you from whatever it is that you need to do or helping you clear what you need to do. So now you're wondering, what is your soul body? A lot of people who work with the Akashic records will speak of your soul body. They believe that there are, I think, 7 different soul bodies out there. Each soul body consists of, I believe, 11 kinds of figures. But your soul body or your soul group is the base group that your soul belongs in celestially. And it's when you can connect with your soul body that you are able to really access your ancestors and your beings, and you get support and love and all of that great stuff that we all seek from the source. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know a lot about soul groups and soul bodies, because I don't. It is something that I am currently trying to learn more about. And how do you know who is your soul group? Well, at this point, I would have to tell you, find somebody who's good with the Akashic records, because I have heard from others who have directly experienced an Akashic record read that it can be a remarkable tool for healing and opening up success and happiness for you. Now, How do you know if you're actually in your own Akashic record? Nobody's going to know that but you. I don't know what else to tell you about that. I don't feel I've been quite fully successful in reaching it. I feel I'm close, but it takes a lot of concentration for me, and I don't know if it's because I'm being blocked by something or it's my own personal insecurities or fears about what I may find in the Akashic records and choices that I've made that may be kind of leading to that. But the Akashic records are definitely something that are pretty vast, and there's a lot of convoluted information out there about it. So be careful in doing your research and in choosing something. If you're wanting to find someone who can read your Akashic records, like I said, I would look into Cynthia Hess or Sandra Hess. I can't remember. I just know her last name is Hess, and see if she's a lovely lady, by the way. See if maybe she can lead you to somebody, one of her students, who can read your Akashic records and help you clear that. You can also check with some of your local metaphysical shops and see if they know anyone who is skilled in reading Akashic records and tap into that and get yourself some answers about why you keep doing these recurring behaviors. It is a really good tool for shadow work, I think, in being able to go in and finally say, okay, I'm done with this pattern. I need to do what I can do to clear the records, and clearing that out and saying I am now free, because it frees you through space and time. So get out there, do some research, and see how those Akashic records can suit you. And in case you were wondering, it's very dark in here today. I meant to mention this at the beginning of the video because I woke up with a migraine. My migraines are triggered by light and sound. So I'm trying to keep things quiet, although my dogs are whining nonstop in the background, and I'm trying to keep it kind of dark because I just got it under control. So if it seems like this is a little bit of a dark video, I'm sorry guys, it's just me trying to survive. So I hope that this information helps you. Check out that program. I would love to be able to invest in it myself because it would be a great tool to have in my witchy arsenal, but it's not necessarily just witchy, so keep that in mind. The Akashic records apply to everyone. So thank you so much for watching, and welcome back to Season 10, which is the moon. We're so happy to have you with us. SFA.